So this is really the office of Parker Williams Publishing in New York City. Your offer is insulting to me. $5 million, I'm not even going to consider it. Don't try going to my agent and going behind my back. It's ridiculous. When you're ready to talk about a real deal, call me. Until then, stop pestering me. I have another masterpiece to write. Is there any part about that you don't get? I'm sorry about that. Ever since my new book has been written, The Literary Club, Sex, Lies, and Murder by David P. Snyder, a novel, the phone's been ringing off the hook. And everyone wants to buy it, but they're talking $2 or $3 million advances. I don't have time for people wasting my time, but I do have time for you, my beloved viewer and reader, to give a dramatic reading right now of the introduction to the Literary Club, Sex, Lies, and Murder. But first, I would like to give the introductory quote from T.S. Eliot in the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. There will be time to prepare a face to meet the faces that you meet. There will be time to murder and create, and time for all the works and days of hands that lift and drop a question on your plate. T.S. Eliot, The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. With no further ado, Chapter 1, The Literary Club, Sex, Lies, and Murder. A is for apple. On a brutally cold morning, the last day of February, the Chancellor of Chapel Grove University was standing in her bright office with a police detective discussing a very strange case of homicide. It was just the two of them. No one else had been allowed to come inside. The fully dressed body of a small woman was hanging upside down from the rafters of the vaulted ceiling of the Chancellor's office. The dead woman's feet had been tied together with the same piece of heavy rope used to string her up. Her neck showed signs of strangulation with either a smaller rope or some type of wire, and there was a small gash on the top of her head. She also had an apple stuffed in her mouth. Of course I was shocked, Chancellor Phyllis Funderburk was saying to the detective. Who wouldn't be? Have you ever seen anything so horrible? Yes, said the detective, whose name was William Trotter. He was a tall, handsome man of African-American descent who had served in the Marine Corps. I've seen a lot worse. Worse than hanging upside down like a side of beef in a Chicago meat factory? Ma'am, I came down here from NYPD, homicide. I've seen things I can't even talk about. People cut up into so many parts you would never be able to collect them all. Evil stuff, witchcraft, Satan worship, black candles, impalement, guts torn out of the anus. Okay, I get it, Funderburk said, stopping him. Please, that's enough. I'm sick enough already as it is. The body they were discussing was a fresh corpse of Dolores Fence, who until just a little while ago had been the head of the university's honors program in writing. Poor thing, said Funderburk, a petite, dour-faced woman. She was dressed in a smart red wool jacket and matching skirt. It is so undignified, and she's wearing her best little plaid dress and those ugly black shoes. It just makes me want to cry. Trotter's eyes first widened, then narrowed, and after that he forced a fake smile of commiseration. He had been studying the Chancellor's stiff and awkward movements of feigned aristocracy, the movements of someone who had either spent time in a finishing school or who had read plenty of books on etiquette to make up for it if she hadn't. What time did you discover the body? Trotter asked. He had been with the Chapel Grove Police Department for about a year after moving down from New York City. No one knew why he'd made the move. It all seemed rather vague. All that was known was that he was an ex-Marine and that he had spent some time as a detective with the NYPD, as he had stated. Just about 15 minutes ago, like I said. It disturbed me greatly. Shocking, just shocking. How does one respond? I went to my desk and called you immediately. I kept everyone else out, didn't touch a thing. I've seen enough murder mysteries to know what to do. Didn't touch a thing. You did the right thing, ma'am. Thunderbird stood under the corpse and looked up at it. It was hard to tell what she was thinking, Trotter thought. Hard to tell if she was genuinely shocked or just pretending to be shocked. As a Marine officer, he had been thoroughly trained in the art of situational awareness, learning how to read thousands of subtle clues that would help him decide whether to shoot someone in the forehead on the spot before they shot him or to let them live. But he couldn't read this lady. She was like the Sphinx. What I keep asking myself is why, Thunderbird said, as she continued to look up at the corpse. Why would anybody want to disturb the peace of such a beautiful morning and sully the mood of the entire year by murdering one of my most famous teachers right here in my very own sanctuary and poison my memory of this place forever? You know, this image will haunt me for weeks. Why? If you would like to hear more of this chapter, I encourage you to go to the section on my website that includes podcast, where you will find, for your listening pleasure, a series of readings from me, Reading Aloud, The Literary Club, Sex, Lies, and Murder, a novel by David P. Snyder. And also, I will be back as the weeks go by with more video installments for your viewing and listening pleasure. I just hope to God that the phone stops ringing.